Welcome to How to Fire a Independent Contractor. Y'all like my cool slides? I stay up all night doing these little wonderful slides for y'all. All right, let's move right on into it. All right, so when do you give them another chance? Let's talk about that first. All right, when do you give a contractor another chance? There are going to be situations when, especially when you're new. When I was new, I wanted to fire so quick because I kept hearing fire fast and hire slow, right? So every time somebody would make a mistake, I'm getting rid of them real quick, right? But there are situations when you got to think this thing through. First of all, you need to realize that people are not robots. People make mistakes, okay? So give people grace. But when do you give them a grace? All right, so here are some things I put down here. Minor mistakes or first-time issues, that's when you get a second chance. You know, it was a minor mistake or first time. You can give a person another chance, right? Everybody agree? Okay, all right. Willingness to improve. If a person is showing you that they have the willingness to improve the job and they're really, really easygoing, easy to talk to, great attitude, like, oh, I'm sorry, I missed the ring in the toilet. Well, do you have any suggestions on how I can get the ring out? Because I tried everything. That type of person, I can give them another chance because they're trying. They have the willingness to improve. So even though we're talking about giving people chances, I thought I'd throw this in there because it's very important not to be too nice. As a new business owner, at least me, I'm gonna speak for myself. I'm Miss Nice Girl, nice lady, right? I'm always with a smile. I'm always like giving people chances. This is me in 2018, right? But the problem with that is lack of respect from contractors or your clients. So people will start taking advantage of you and they won't respect you whenever you're too nice. You think that you're being nice, you're a nice manager, you're not mean like all the people that treated you mean, right? Wrong. It's very important because you will lose respect in your business if you are too nice. Okay, now we're talking about firing. It's going to be hard for you to fire somebody if you're too lenient. All right, reasons to fire. Let's get into this. Now, these are some reasons you may consider getting rid of your contractor. Consistent poor performance. If they keep on performing poor, you might consider just going ahead and ending the contract.
When do I not have to pay them people? Because a lot of the times we don't be wanting to pay.
That's the favorite question right there. Okay. That's everybody's favorite question. When do I not have to pay them people?
So it says a client or business owner may not have to pay an independent contractor under certain conditions, but these conditions depend on the terms outlined in the contract. I'm going to say that again. These terms are outlined in the contract. That's why it is very, very important to know what you're putting inside of the contract and the clauses. Clauses meaning what they can and cannot do far as your boundaries. Okay. The nature of the agreement and circumstances surrounding the termination or non-performance. So in our service agreement, we basically have a couple of things. We have what they're going to be doing far as the location, whether it's Airbnbs, whether it's move in, move out, whether it's a 5-day-a-week account or whether it's a 3-day-a-week account. We let them know what we're going to be contracting them out for. And then we also let them know the pay, how much they're going to be getting paid. We let them know when they're going to be paid, whether it's on a net 30, but whether it's on a net 15, or whether it's going to be same day. So that way there's no misunderstandings. There's always clarification. We also let them know, okay, now if you decide you are so responsible for this account, and if you decide to not show up for whatever it is, you're going to be let go. I mean, because you are responsible. It is your responsibility to find a replacement because you are responsible for this account. The client is not going to take, we let them know you are an independent contractor. The client is not going to take, well, you know what, I overslept, or I couldn't come because my stomach hurt and stuff like that, because the business still goes on. So you have to be careful on the guidelines that you are putting inside of the service agreement, even when it comes to the termination.
When to terminate the contract without pay, right? If they are in breach of your contract, you can terminate it without pay, depending on what your contract says, just like Tamika just went over. Non-performance or incomplete work. We talked about this briefly yesterday. Non-performance, incomplete work. You got to make sure all of the things is inside of your contract. If it's in your contract, these are reasons right here. Failure to submit an invoice. That's a big one right there. So if it says in your contract that they must submit an invoice and they're not sending you an invoice, you don't have to pay them because they're not following your rules, right? They actually potentially could be hurting your business because that's a part of your system, right? They must send the invoice to, like our contractors, we have them send the invoice to invoices@tenacityacademy.com. It's a reason why it goes there, because then it goes to my VA. And my VA handles the invoices, and she has to do the payroll and all the things. So if they refuse to do it because they don't know how to send the invoice, that can potentially hurt your business. Okay. And you're going to run into a lot of people, because you're dealing with small cleaning business owners that really they're not used to this stuff. Right. So a lot of times you might run into people, I know I have, that don't want to send the invoice. But it's basically the same steps like we went over yesterday. You're going to review the contract that you have with the contractor. That's your first thing. Make sure that you dot your I's, cross your T's. Okay. Document performance issues. Documentation, I can't stress it enough how important it is to document, because people will lie. All right. So any type of pictures, any type of recordings, we use Ring Central. We record all of our phone calls. We have picture documentation. We have text messages, emails, anything. Document the whole performance in all of the issues. Okay. All right. Final payments. We deal with this one a lot.
Yes. Ensure that any final payments owed for work already completed are made. The letter should clearly state the final amount owed and the date of the last payment. Collect any property that belongs to the company. So this is very, very important, you guys. Like any type of final payment, like we had, I want to say a couple of people that came back to us. Thank God that we kept the documentation, as far as when people get paid and what they actually did, and it's always documented. I make sure of that. But we had one contractor recently, she came back because we let her go, but she was stating, hey, listen, you guys owe me for an Airbnb that I did. So I had to go back into my vault, look at my notations, because again, on my spreadsheet, I may not put a person's name, but I actually, on my contractor sheet, I do put like what they do daily. So I had to go back to my contractor sheet and see exactly when this person was on the team, what was their last job. Now, I do state on inside of my worksheet that they were already paid for that. Now, if I would not have put that on there, that they were actually paid for it, we probably would have double paid them, because a lot of people, they state that, oh, okay, all right, you haven't paid me for what I actually did, or maybe this house had a deep clean. And I know in the instance of when we're doing our schedule right now, our virtual assistant, sometimes she may forget to put deep clean. And that could become an issue, because if we sit there and charge the client, I want to say the regular price, and let's just say that the cleaner actually did a deep clean, and they, for so what reason, decide to leave the company. If we didn't charge for the deep clean and we don't have any knowledge, that contractor can come back and say, hey, listen, I did a deep clean, but you guys didn't pay for it. So if it's not documented, how can you have the proof? There's nothing to argue to state, well, no, it wasn't a deep clean, because there's no proof. So you got to go with the contractor, because these people can actually take you to court. depending on what you put inside of your service agreement. Like, it's very, very vital that you have someone legally look over your service agreement. I mean, cross the T's and dot all I's when it comes to any type of clause inside of your service agreement, because they will come back and say, oh, well, you didn't pay me for this and you didn't pay me for that. So just make sure when you're sending out the final payments, have them a letter to sign stating that this is my final payment. You don't owe me anything, okay? Because if you do not, these people will come back.
What do you do when a contractor quits without notice? I believe someone talked about this yesterday with employees. So I thought that I'd throw this in there as well. So the first thing that we do when we find out that a contractor has left without notice, and they let's say they just ghost you. We've had this happen before too, where you may have an account that's 5 days a week, and then next thing you know, the person that was doing the account ain't doing it no more. They just stopped showing up, and you can't even get in touch with them. You don't know what's going on, right? The first thing you do is you stay calm, stay professional. Don't react impulsively, because you're a business owner, right? And you got to wear all of these hats. So you cannot freak out. You can't. All right. Don't react impulsively, even though it's frustrating when a contractor quits without notice. It's important to stay calm and handle the situation professionally. A rash reaction could harm your reputation or create unnecessary conflict. All right. So keep that in mind. Don't take it personal. Understand that contractors often work on their own terms, and their reason for leaving might not have anything to do with you or your business. We found that to be very, very true. So stay calm. First thing you're going to do is you're going to try to contact the contractor, because you don't know what happened. That contractor could have died. Don't immediately just start thinking negatively about the situation. Reach out to the contractor promptly. Contact the contractor as soon as possible to understand why they quit without notice. Use multiple methods: emails, phone calls, texts. Remember, you're documenting all of these things as you go along to make sure you reach them.
And I'm glad I came, because I feel like I've been struggling with my numbers, and I felt like this right here brought a lot of attention to my numbers, that I need to really not lower my standards just to gain a client or gain a contract.
The biggest takeaway for us was the finance part, because we really didn't know our numbers and really didn't know how to process it, and that was so good for us. And then with all the informative information, it actually closed up some questions that we was not able to answer, and so they helped us out so much. It is so good.
I think it's a great opportunity to learn more about the business and to be successful.